Hey guys, I wanted to make a video today about streaming services, basically streaming services such as Tidal and YouTube. And I found this out to be very interesting, and I learned about this yesterday because I decided to do a few tests on a couple of streaming services that provide you with streaming music, and especially Tidal that's supposed to provide you with high resolution streaming music or audiophile quality streaming music, right? But before I go on about this, I just want to tell you right now I'm using this Evistr recorder. It's this recorder that I reviewed about a year ago. I think it's been a year now. So I decided to do this whole video using this recorder, and I did a couple of tests the other day, and I found out that this recorder sounds really well. It sounds as almost as good as a Zoom recorder if you are using it for voice or doing podcasts. But for music, it's a different story. But for voice, it sounds really good. So this is what you are hearing right now. I am using this microphone, the Vista digital recorder. So as I mentioned earlier, I found this to be very shocking that a lot of these streaming services that you hear about online, and there's been a big debate on YouTube or just online in general about how these the sound quality of these streaming services. And for example, like Tidal claims to have high resolution audiophile quality music, but what I found out that may not be quite true. And you hear a lot of people say, which is better, CDs or stream or digital music that is being streamed in high resolution, right? Most people would say it would be Tidal, right? But what I did was I did a test. So basically I took two streaming services and I took YouTube, just the basic YouTube, youtube.com. And this is where I stream most of my music. And I just use it. I don't use it as a reference. I just use it to find new music and to experiment with different types of music. That's what I use it for. But for my reference, I use CDs basically, or I use digital wave files that are downloaded, that are purchased. But for using streaming sites like Tidal that you have to pay for, I don't, to be honest, I don't really think there is a difference. As matter of fact, actually know it because I did a test yesterday. I compared two streaming services. As I said earlier, I compared Tidal and YouTube. Not YouTube Music, just a basic YouTube site for streaming, video. And I found out that Tidal may not be as good as everyone think it is, or it may not be as good as YouTube, believe it or not. So when I did this test yesterday, I did a track. I selected a track that was both on YouTube and Tidal, which is as you can see right here. I'm right now. I'm online, as you can see, and I'm at the Tidal website right now. And you see this artist that is on the site. So I particularly choose this artist right here. Her name is Yoon Soon Na. Yoon Soon Na. And the reason why I chose her and her music is just the fact that I'm really familiar with this track. I have been listening to this track for like a few years now. So I have listened to it so many times. So I'm very familiar with the track. I know how the instruments sound. I know how her voice sounds and the speech and everything in this track. And not only that, but it's probably one of the, as far as, quality, as far as musical instruments go, this is probably one of the best sounding. It's a great song, great track, but it's probably one of the best sounding tracks musically because you can hear each instrument, right? This track has a very low bass note in it, and if you don't have the right speakers or your speakers are not capable of delivering, the sound that is in this track, you would definitely hear it. If your speakers can't play this track, you would definitely hear it. It would make your speakers just really rumble, and it would just overdrive the driver. And this is not digital music. This is actually acoustic music using acoustic instruments, such as I think this track uses a cello, and a violin. I believe it's either a cello or a double bass instruments. Or they may even use both instruments, because I looked this up online to see what type of instruments that they use for this particular track. But anyways, that instrument I don't believe is actually in this particular song. Maybe they are talking about another song. But this song that I use right here, or that I reference, it's called Better Ballad. As you can see, let's see if I can show you. Okay, it's right here at the bottom left hand corner. That's the name of this track. It's Better Ballad. And out of all the tracks that she have done or produced, I think, this is my favorite one because the sound quality is just amazing. Again, if you have a good pair of speakers, you will be able to hear bass, I think, all the way down to 40 hertz in this track, because they use a double bass string instrument, and I think they use a cello as well. So, and like I say, most speakers or average speakers cannot play this track, because when you try to play it over a pair of just standard loudspeakers, even if they are high fidelity loudspeakers and they're small, the speakers are going to struggle to play this track. It can't, because there's so much deep bass excursion and low end, especially if your speakers are not designed to handle excursions or heavy cone movement of the driver. It's just going to, really push the driver really hard, and it's going to cause it to vibrate and rattle if your speakers can't handle that. So if your speakers can handle this track right here, you got a good pair of sounding speakers. So what I used a pair of my Pro speakers, which is a 12-inch woofer. It's a Pro audio speaker, which has a 12-inch woofer and a compression driver. I think a 1-inch compression driver that has a sensitivity of 96 decibels, which is pretty loud. And I'm using a small amplifier. I'm only using a 9-watt amplifier. It's the Topping TP30, which only delivers 9 watts and 8 ohms, and this is an 8 ohm speaker. But it's enough power, and enough gain where I could play it, fairly loud on this 12-inch monitor. But my whole point of doing this is the fact that I found out that Tidal is, it's not any better sounding than YouTube. Before I go any further, I just want to explain to you that some of the stuff I may say, it may not be correct, or it may be slightly off, because I did not have time to write anything down or take any notes. I just doing this off the top of my head right now. So I may miss a few things. That's what I'm trying to say. I may miss a few things, or I may say something wrong just by accident, because I did not write any of this down, because I did not have time to do this. I barely have time to make this video right now, so it's going to probably be a pretty long video. But I just want to get that, get that through to you guys before I really start going deep into this. So I'm going to start now. And again, this is what I'm saying. So what I did, I took 2 tracks. I took this track right here, Better Ballad. And as you can see, I selected it on Tidal. And this is the thing. With Tidal, I don't have a Tidal account because you have to pay for it. I thought, you could just, sign up and log in and just listen to the music. But you can't. You have to pay a monthly fee in order to use their service, right? So if you are not, if you are not paying, or non-payers, or if you're not logged in, you can only listen to these tracks for 30 seconds. So that's what I did right now. As you can see, I have it set, and these tracks are a preview, and they preview for 30 seconds, and that's it. So to listen to this track fully, you have to log in. You have to pay for an account or pay for a monthly service. The last time I tried, when I used it, that's what I had. So I decided not to sign up. I could listen to the same music on YouTube. And this is the thing. The audio quality on YouTube, to me, and it's just not my preference, or I'm just not saying this, but it's actually a bit better than Tidal. And I'm going to explain to you why. And also, I'm going to actually show you, not only explain to you why is it better, YouTube, but I'm going to really show you, because I have actually used software. Not only did I use loudspeakers. So right now, you guys, I'm going to really explain to you and actually show you why YouTube is just as good as Tidal. and it may even be better as far as quality than Tidal. Because as you can see right now, I'm on Tidal, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about Tidal, explain to you the format that Tidal use and why it is considered to be a high resolution streaming service, which is technically speaking, it's really not. And here, okay, here's from the start. Well, Tidal started to use this technology called MQA, which stands for Master Quality Authenticated. Master Quality Authenticated, MQA. So basically that means they are taking studio quality recordings and making them available for streaming. So basically they are using like a type of it's a compression, regardless of what they say. This is what Tidal used to use. They don't use this technology now, but this MQA is a technology that allows you to use studio recordings and compress them into a smaller file format so they could be streamed over the internet in high resolution. That's the whole point of this technology, this MQA technology. It allows you to have high resolution audio that is from the recording studio and being able to have it streamed on your computer. That's all it is, right? But they recently stopped using this technology because they had to pay money. It's a license that they have to pay, a license fee. And from what I heard, this license fee was pretty expensive. So this is why Tidal decided to skip that or to drop it and start using FLAC. And you know FLAC is basically, it's a lossless audio quality format, or it's really a compression. FLAC is a compression because it basically does the same thing. It compresses the file size, but it states that the music is not compressed in any way, or the quality or the data of music is not lost in any way. It's still all there. All the data is still there. They just compress the size of the file to make it 70, I think, is it 70% smaller than a WAV file. It's not as small as the MP3 file. It's a bit larger than that, but it's not as large as a WAV file. Okay, and the problem with that, as I said before, after I listened to this track on these two platforms, these two digital music platforms, I found out that Tidal is no better than YouTube, and I'm gonna really show you why right now. So okay, let me go to YouTube. So here's the YouTube page. Here's the same track here, bit of valid track, right? So what I did was I did a test and I used software to compare it. So right now I'm on this YouTube page with this track called Better Ballad, and I don't know if I can, but I'm going to do a quick 30-second test to let you guys hear how this track sound on YouTube, and then let you hear how it sound on Tidal. So I think what I do first, and I'm not sure if YouTube is going to allow me to play this track, but a lot of the artists that put their music on YouTube, they allow users to have their music play in the background of their, their videos they make on YouTube, or they allow the user on YouTube only to play their music, So I'm not really sure if it's the same thing, with this artist, but I'm pretty sure most of the artists do allow you to play their music on YouTube, only on YouTube, but like other platforms, social media platforms like Facebook is kind of tricky, but like Instagram and all these other social platforms, I'm not really sure, but I know on YouTube they give you permission, to do it. It's already licensed in there. It's all in the license for you to do that. So if I can't play these music tracks, these samples on this video, I'm just going to make two separate videos. One video doing the test, and then one video without doing this audio test. So I think that's about all for that. So right now I'm just going to show you guys the difference in sound quality right now. And again, this was really shocking to me. So I'm going to go back to Tidal page. I'm going to do Tidal first because I want you guys to see how Tidal sounds. And again, pay attention to this. Really, if you have a good pair of headphones or reference headphones, put them on, wear them, and just listen to this track. And I guarantee you, you can hear the difference in quality. when I play Tidal first and when I play YouTube second. It's just going to be like a subtle. You'll be able to hear it. So I'm going to switch to on the Tidal page right now. And then after I play that track for 30 seconds, I'm going to go back to YouTube and play the same track again. And everything is set on the same volume. My computer volume is set at 60. And the volume on YouTube right here is set at max. Okay, let me set it to max. Here we go. I turned it down, but I'll set it up to max. And this is 100%. So volume on YouTube is at 100%, as you can see. I just put it there. Then I'm going to go to Tidal. Okay, now I'm on Tidal, and I'll check the volume out here. As you can see, the volume on Tidal is at 100% as well. So basically, this track is going to be playing at the same volume on both platforms, on the YouTube platform and on the Tidal platform. But as I mentioned earlier, you're going to actually be able to hear a subtle difference. It's more than subtle. You'll be able to hear the difference. So I'm going to play this track right now. Here we go.
I see your face, so pale and worn, with my eyes.
That was Better Ballad track on Tidal. So now I'm going to switch to YouTube platform and play the same track at the same volume. And tell me, do you hear a difference?
I see your face, so pale and worn, with my eyes.
Okay, there we go. That was 29 seconds I just played. Just let me know in the comment section if you can hear a difference. You certainly can, but I want you to be the judge for yourself. So listen. So there you go. Now tell me, if you can hear the difference. I could clearly hear the difference. It sounds to me that YouTube is actually louder. The volume of this track sounds louder than the volume on Tidal, as you can hear. And you may say that maybe I'm making it up or you don't hear it, but you can definitely hear it. And I'm going to show you proof that YouTube is actually playing louder than Tidal. I actually used some software, which anybody could use. I used Audacity and I used the VLC player to do the recording. And again, before I say anything else, I don't recommend using VLC to record, music off for streaming sites. I don't do that. I just did this just for testing purposes, right? I just wanted to test these tracks. I recorded just 30 seconds of each song. But yeah, there's software out there that can do that. And again, it's a media player, but I just used it just to record these two short samples just to show you guys that there is a difference in music quality between these streaming services. And just to let you know that, it's not better. A lot of people think it's better to use these streaming services, that YouTube is the quality of music that is YouTube is not as good as the quality of music that is on streaming services like Tidal. That is not true, and I'm going to show you right now. And I put this in Audacity to see if the waveforms from both platforms are the same, or if there's any types of differences that you can see for each track. Okay, here we go. So this is a software application I use just to view the waveforms. It's called Audacity, and a lot of people like to use this software. You're probably familiar with the software. A lot of you use it to edit your audio in your YouTube videos or your podcasts. So I actually decided to use it just to see how each of these audio tracks sound on different platforms. Again, this is the same audio track, but it's being distributed to different audio platforms such as YouTube and Tidal. And guess what? Take a look at this. Now let me see. Can you see a difference in between these two tracks? This is the top track right here. This one is actually from YouTube, right? Better Balanced track. As you can see, it says right here, and then it says YouTube. So, and this track right here, the bottom one, is from Tidal, Better Ballad, as you can see. And just about 29 seconds samples that I did for both tracks. And just take a look at this, man. Can you see the difference? The top is YouTube and the bottom is Tidal. I mean, there's a slight difference. Not only a slight difference, to me, it's clearly a difference that you can see as far as the quality or the volume go. So basically, when you look at this top track right here, which comes from YouTube, the song, it's very loud. Well, it's not very loud, but it's a bit louder than the track from Tidal at the bottom. And again, this is what I noticed. So when I listen to these two tracks, when I listen to YouTube, I noticed that the volume on YouTube of this track was noticeably higher, was a bit higher than the one that was on Tidal. As you can see, this is true. Let's take a look at this. So I looked this up to see, could you notice as far as how audio is measured in decibels, right? So I did a Google search and it said that 1 decibel is absolutely the smallest change in volume that the human ear can detect. 1 decibel. So anything that's below 1 decibel, the human ear cannot detect it, right? But if it's 1 decibel or higher, the human ear can detect it, which means the human ear can hear it, or they can hear a change in sound if it's 1 decibel or higher. So when I listen to this track on YouTube, I noticeably hear it. I could just right off hear it's a bit louder, and I believe it's louder by 3 decibels because you could clearly hear it. And here's what the YouTube, or here's what the chart says. It says 1 decibel, just noticeable the difference. It says just noticeable difference under ideal testing conditions. So basically, if it's 1 decibel, you could slightly or just barely notice the difference. But at 3 decibels, it says the sound is clearly noticeable, and it represents a doubling of sound power, but does not sound twice as loud. So basically what that means is when you hear this track at 3 decibels, it's clearly noticeable. You can actually hear the difference if it's at 3 decibels. Now, if it's at 10 decibels, it's twice or half as loud as the track. So again, and I'm going to post this, if I can, I'm going to post this up on this video so you can take a look at this. So basically, when I listened to this track on YouTube, it sounded like it was exactly 3 decibels louder than the track on Tidal, and it's the same track playing at the same volume. So right there, this tells you that Tidal music is not as loud as YouTube music. The gain is not as high as YouTube. So basically, your music on YouTube plays louder than Tidal. That's the whole point. And here's the second point that I found out. I just found this out, and I think it's very interesting. If you look at these waveforms, if you look at them really good, you would notice that the waveforms right here on Tidal, they are different. They are not the same. And again, this is the same track. It looks pretty similar, but if you take a closer look at it, you notice that the waveforms right here are different. Let me see if I can highlight it. I'll highlight it right here. Maybe right here, so you can see my point when I'm mentioning. Okay, I can only highlight one at a time, so I go right here, 1 track at a time. So when you look at this, and this is a Tidal track right here. This is Tidal. If you look at this track on Tidal, you could clearly see that the waveforms are slightly different from the ones that are on YouTube. So this is Tidal right here, and this is YouTube. I'm going to highlight YouTube right now. So this is YouTube. And look at this. If you notice at the very top of this waveform, you can see it looks slightly different. It's interesting. If you look at this really closely, and I would advise anybody to pause this video, just take a look at these waveforms. They are different. Not only are they different in volume or loudness, but they are different in shape. Look at the shape of this waveform, and look at this one. It looks different, you know. For example, like this. I mean, I'm trying to find one that's really. I mean, they look almost identical, but when you take a closer look, the shape of these waveforms are somewhat slightly different, you know. And why I say this, because if you listen to the track that is on YouTube closely, I don't know if it's me, maybe it's not, but I could hear a little bit of difference. I could hear more emphasis on words that start with an S, that are pronounced with an S, than I do on Tidal. And again, I don't know if I'm just imagining this or am I really hearing this, but I really believe I am. And if you listen to it on YouTube first, it just seems like there is a very faint emphasis on words. So it seems like to me, YouTube may have a little bit more emphasis, and it comes from the same artist, same just on a different platform. And that's another thing I want to mention too. The reason why, you would want to listen to these tracks on YouTube than Tidal is, well, one of the first reasons, or the main reason, is you have to pay. Again, Tidal, you have to pay a monthly fee to use their service and to listen to their music. And the thing is, the format that they use is FLAC. They don't use MQA anymore. They stopped using MQA in 2024. So they just use FLAC now, which is supposed to be high resolution, right? But as you can see from this chart, it really don't look like it. Or you could actually hear it. You could hear the difference. It doesn't really sound that high resolution when you compare it to YouTube. And the thing about YouTube, it's free. Anybody can use it. You don't even have to log into their account or have a YouTube account to listen to music on YouTube. And that's another plus side for using YouTube. So for me, I'll have no problem using YouTube. I don't even have a problem using it as a reference. If I want a reference, I can use an audio CD, or a record if I want to, have that type of sound. But you can also use it as a reference. And the reason why for YouTube is the fact that you have to remember a lot of these artists, and I know music that is basically uploaded to YouTube, a lot of time, most of the music is uploaded by users. They're not the artists directly. But if you could find the artists that upload their music directly, from their company or directly themselves, you would have basically the highest quality of audio sound, which would sound just as good as Tidal or even better than Tidal. That's what I'm trying to say. Because if you just listen to these audio tracks, these songs that are uploaded by just, regular users and stuff, you have to remember each time that track is uploaded to YouTube, that file is being compressed, right? When you upload it the first time, you could be an artist, for example, and upload your music yourself to YouTube. And it's what a lot of artists are doing. They're uploading their music directly from the studio, or the music company or the record companies directly uploading their music to YouTube. So that means you'll get the best sound quality from either the record company, from the artist, or from the the individual that has their own music, right? But if you try to listen to it from an individual, you have to remember that song has already been compressed. And once that file is compressed, being uploaded, somebody could download it from YouTube, because they have these programs now that allow you to download YouTube videos, right? And this is what a lot of users do, or YouTube users. They download a song that's already been uploaded to YouTube, and they download it using these downloaders. And these downloaders are different quality. They are not all the same quality. And each time you download this video, it's a compression. It compresses the file even more. So once the file been uploaded to YouTube, it's been compressed, right, by YouTube, because YouTube has their own compression. And I don't know what type of compression they use, but they have their own compression, and it's different from Tidal. I mean, clearly you can see the compression is different from Tidal just from this chart right here, these waveforms. So when they take that file like that, that's already been uploaded to YouTube, and somebody downloaded it using that downloader, the downloader is going to compress that audio file or that video file even smaller because it's a compression. Then that person takes that video and or that audio file and re-upload it to YouTube again. So that, and when you upload that same file that's been compressed already twice, once by originally being uploaded by the original person and then being downloaded, it's being compressed again. And then for a third time, you upload it to your site or whoever, it's being compressed a third time. So the quality is dropping even more. So basically that audio file that you listen to, if you're not listening to that song that is uploaded by that artist themselves or by that record company themselves, it's been heavily compressed already at least 3 times. And this is what I'm saying. And this is why when you listen to some audio tracks on YouTube, and it could be the same song by the original artist that uploaded it, but then, you know, you have a user that's, you know, a fan of the music, so they upload it themselves. And this is why a lot of the music that you hear by just YouTube users don't sound as good as the original track, because it's been uploaded, downloaded, and compressed every time. Even being downloaded, it's been still being compressed even more, and then uploaded again, it gets compressed even more. So the best thing I can say to do, if you really want to use YouTube as a reference for listening to music, and you can, you just have to go directly to the YouTube channel of that artist. You know, the official YouTube channel where the artists upload the music themselves, or they use the record company or a record company that upload the music. For example, like Sony, you know, any tracks that are uploaded by Sony, you know, it's going to be high quality. You know, it's going to be very good quality. Or go to YouTube channels of that artist, it's going to be high quality. But if you go to just a regular user, someone who, you know, a fan or whatever, uploads these video files, they're going to be compressed when they upload them again, and when you play them back, they're not going to sound good as the other tracks or the tracks by the original people, because it's been compressed and copied and compressed back and forth. So, and this is what I'm talking about. So this track that I'm listening to, it actually, I think it comes from the artist directly. Again, you know, a lot of the artists go to these sites that distribute their music to all these social media channels like YouTube, Tidal, and Spotify, sites like that, so that you get into better quality or the higher quality that is to be distributed by those artists. So that's what I'm trying to explain. So my voice right now is kind of getting kind of dry in my throat and sounding kind of hoarse, but this is what I wanted to explain to you guys. So yeah, there is a difference between Tidal and YouTube. And my opinion, I would use YouTube over Tidal now that I know. I wouldn't worry about, you know, like I say, you can listen to what you want to listen to, but for me, I'm going to still used to listen to YouTube, you know, for my music. I may even reference YouTube, you know, music on YouTube, because if it comes directly from the source, you know, from the artist or from the record company, I'm definitely going to use that as a reference to listen to music. Because as you've seen, it is no different. Actually, the music quality from YouTube seems to be better. Not only is it better, but it's louder. And that's what I'm trying to say. It sounds louder to the ear. And it sounds just as good, if not better, than Tidal. And that's my whole point of really making this video. I want to show you guys, because a lot of people have been just wondering, what is better? Is CD quality still better than streaming, than high resolution streaming audio? As you can see, streaming audio is not there yet. It's just not there. And when you look at YouTube, when you compare other streaming services, I should say, not just comparing CD to streaming, but when you compare other streaming services, nobody thinks of using YouTube as a reference to listen to their music. They think that a lot of music is low quality, and it is, as I mentioned before. You know, in order to get the high quality music on YouTube, you have to go directly to the artist's page or the record company page to get that high quality. And once you play it back on YouTube, it sounds just as good as Tidal, if not better. And that's my point. So that's about it for this video. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this. And again, I may have been all over the place with this because I was not prepared to make a video like this. But I just wanted to show you guys this. I thought it was surprising. To me, it really shocked me that I had no idea that YouTube music, the same track would sound better on YouTube than it would on Tidal. But again, Tidal used a compression and used FLAC. Technically, it's still a compression. And I know YouTube is a compression as well. But as I said before, it really depends how the music is being distributed, you know. And it's just surprising that the YouTube just sounds better to me, and it's louder, as you can see from this chart. It's just plays louder. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you like the sound of my recorder. So again, I'm using this recorder, and I'm not going to really edit the sound on this recorder. I just want to show you how it sounds without any filters or adding anything to this audio. The recorder really has a good sound. It's very clean and very clear. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I see you guys later, okay? Goodbye.